Will both the Wells twins make it this weekend at Syndicate Crown and punch their tickets to the CrossFit Games? Will Ty Jenkins or Seth Stovall punch their tickets to the games for the very first time? Will both of them? Will the Sevan broadcast crew get canceled? Let's go through some top 5 rankings, and then we will do a fun little round of buying or selling in our preview of what we might see this weekend at Syndicate Crown, which is the North America East semifinal or qualifying event. All right, there is really no shoe-in on either side of the aisle for both men's or women's.
Bueller.
You could say Brooke Wells, but we'll get into this a little bit. There's a backstory there. There's some drama there that could affect things depending on her mental fortitude. There's no names that are just jumping out. A lot of those names got in already, whether it be through Mayhem or whether it be through the in-affiliate semifinal or whether it be through TFX. You've got a field on both sides that's got 5 to 8 people that really could be in that top 2, but I think we could actually narrow that down just a little bit. On the men's side, number 5, I've got Luke Parker. I know I heard the other day John picked him in the top 2, John Young, to make it, but he just hasn't been doing well, and I expect finally for him not to make it. I don't see him doing really poorly on any of them, but I don't think he's going to make it. I think that there's going to be some younger guys, people who haven't made the games before, that step up and ultimately push him out as the games field is narrowed this year. Number 4, I've got George Sterner. After some time off, he's back and he's looking better than ever. He has made the CrossFit Games before. It was 6 years ago, but he has surprised everyone, and I think he will potentially surprise some people again as he just misses it here at Syndicate. He will have another shot at NorCal, though, as well, or the last chance qualifier. Second, tied for second, I have Jack Rosema and Seth Stovall. Seth Stovall is extremely fit, and every year his finish seems to get a little bit higher. I think last year he's 11th, 12th, 13th, something like that in a really stacked field. The competition is not as good at this field, so I would not be surprised at all if he punches his ticket. Jack Rosema, somebody who's made the games for the first time last year. He has looked good, consistent, and I think add in the mix Heavy Isabel, which he's going to win.
I ain't joking, man. Why you talking about me? Better quit it on my shoulder. I ain't joking, man.
And should get him off to a great start. I think that ultimately, with this field not being as difficult as some of the other fields that he's faced, this will be the one where he punches his ticket. So even though they're tied for second, I guess my official pick is Jack. And then number 1, I've got Ty Jenkins. I do think that he's the fittest person here. I do think that he is going to struggle on Heavy Isabel, but I think that across the board, he is good enough that you're going to see him getting a lot of top 5 finishes, and he might even win a workout. But at the end of the day, I think that he has been surprising people when he won RX at Wodapalooza and when he almost won at World Fitness Project.
Prestige worldwide. Why?
In their challenger division over some big names, ultimately losing by a few points to Tudor Magna. I think that he will punch his ticket to the games, and I'm picking him to win. It's hard to actually picture him winning and seeing his name there in this field, but the field is so close and there's no shoe-ins in such a way that I think he's the most logical pick. I think his game's really well-rounded. I think he's young. I think he's been getting this competition experience recently and has shown that he steps up in person versus online specifically, and I think he's going to do it here. He won the team games 3 times. He knows how to get it done when it counts, when there's a crowd.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
A sleeper for me is Connor Vols. Not a lot of people know a lot about him, but he has steadily been getting better, and he is very young, and I think he could really surprise some people here. On the women's side, number 1, we'll go in reverse order here this time. I've got Carolyn Stanley. Number 2, I've got Brooke Wells.
Oh, look, someone we know.
Carolyn, I just think, look, Brooke easily could be number 1. I put her at 2. She also could be third, fourth, fifth. It all depends on her headspace, and I don't know enough about her headspace. She got called out for the burpees by Hiller. Pretty much the whole Sevan crew called her out for the burpees.
There are burpees being done in the presence of the judge that were not burpees.
And they're going to be there in her face with cameras. And if you know the setup at Syndicate, it's unavoidable. The warm-up area that Sevan's crew will be in, they will be like back to back. And then even to walk through to get to the warm-up area, you're in a room called the Athletes Lounge where all the media is at. There's no avoiding it. They're broadcasting it. They're on the floor. She's going to have Hiller there. She's going to have Taylor there. She's going to have Sevan there, John Young there. Everybody who said your burpees are trash. And from what we've heard, she took no accountability for it. Now, we don't know the exact story, but it's been alluded to on the podcast. Sevan, I think Hiller might have alluded to it, in that she basically just took no accountability whatsoever. And now she's going to have to see all these people. So she's either going to come in and absolutely put it to them because it doesn't really bother her as far as performing is concerned, or it's going to get to her and she's not going to perform to her ability. Because as far as ability is concerned, she'd be number one. I've got her at 2. I've got Carolyn Stanley at 1. I've got Sydney Wells at 3. I don't think Sydney has looked great this year, but I think as far as, I guess, peaking is concerned and all that stuff, I do think that ultimately she's going to step up and come really close to qualifying for the games. I wouldn't be surprised if she does, but I've got her at 3rd. I've got Shelby Neal at 4th. I mean, look, she's at the games last year. I think the last 2 years, she didn't do great at semifinals. I think she was worse than 50th, and she didn't look great at Mayhem. But again, look, this is the time where you have to show up. This is when it counts. In the past few years, she has shown she's able to do it when it counts. 5th, I've got Kyra Milligan. She also hasn't looked great. Multiple places she has underperformed, in my opinion. So it's hard to see her suddenly stepping up and taking first or taking second. I do think she'll be in the mix. And again, are we really going to be that surprised if somebody who's been to the games like Kyra were to take one of those 2 spots with the field lacking kind of that A tier other than Brooke Wells? No, I wouldn't be surprised. But I've got her at 5th for now. So in recapping, we've got Ty Jenkins and Jack Rosema, and we've got Carolyn Stanley and Brooke Wells. However, I do think it's a very close call between Jack Rosema and Seth Stovall, so we'll kind of say either or there. All right, now that we've done our top 5 for the field, let's get into a little round of buying or selling, things that could happen at Syndicate Crown this weekend in Tennessee, where I will be. Buying or selling. The Sevan crew will do a better job than Brian Friend at Broadcasting Syndicate. Brian Friend loves throwing frisbees. I see him on his Instagram channel. He's throwing frisbees.
The hood up out of me. I just found out my big homie a rat. I'm shaking my hair, rolling in the scat. Jumped in the booth, put the hood on my back. Pop me a...
Now look, Brian Friend is known for the budget broadcast. He'll get you any broadcast for $5,000 or less for your CrossFit event with a gimbal.
With a pencil.
I don't remember if that's what it was, 5, 10,000, something like that. All I know is that the jump from him to the pros is like from 5,000 to like 300,000. So that's your choice. There's no in between. You're either shooting it like the CrossFit Games or you're shooting it with Brian Friend's gimbal. And there's no in between. Or is there? Sevan crew will undoubtedly do better than Brian Friend, and that's not because of bias towards Sevan versus Brian Friend. That's just because they're entertaining. The whole thing could go to crap. You could drop a nuke in the middle of it. The whole crew could get explosive diarrhea. Hiller gets in a fight with Brooke Wells. Taylor gets in a fight with Coach Al. Kale Lehman shows up on the floor.
When he does wall balls, he does them on a tree.
The whole thing could be pandemonium. And they would make it entertaining. And that's why no matter what, it will be better. There could be a static screen while they're announcing the event, and it would still be better because they are entertaining. And nothing against you, Brian Friend, but you have the most boring, monotone voice in the history of CrossFit commentary.
Hey guys.
You know a whole lot about random athletes and random stats, and that's fantastic. And I'm glad that you get budget CrossFit coverage, but you are going to get absolutely swept just the floor is going to get wiped with your face by that. I don't even know what I'm saying, but the Sevan crew is absolutely going to have a better broadcast. And I'd rather have entertainment while the drones are running into trees and while bombs are being dropped. Shaky cameras are running around and Caleb's running into Tyler and Tyler's running into John and they're all catching the same explosion. It doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter. It's going to be entertaining, right? It's going to be entertaining. I'm buying the Sevan crew does better, hands down, than the Brian Friend budget broadcast. I bet he could beat you at Frisbee, though. He's not bad. He can fling it. Buy or sell, Syndicate will be the best semifinal event in person in North America. Now, this one is interesting. I would say buy. The venue is fantastic. It's been really good in the past, and it's going to be better than TFX, in my opinion, which was a good event. Unfortunately, they have to follow up the Mayhem Classic, and while there will be more people, I think, at Syndicate, but the Mayhem Classic, you can't beat it. The environment there and who was there, who was competing, the field, the fact that Froning was there, and that he was announcing, you can't beat that. So it's sort of not fair. So I am selling the fact that they will be the best semifinal. They won't be. They will be, though, after the Mayhem Classic. Buy or sell, Taylor will get killed at Kill Taylor. Well, this is going to be interesting. We haven't had Kill Taylor in a few weeks, and we have it live now. I have no idea what the workout is, but we've got some of the past superstars from my understanding. I think Matthew, if you watch the show, you know who Matthew is. He'll be there and some other people. So what I think is that this bears even worse for the competitors, unfortunately. He will beat every last one of them. He is going to make sure that this workout is something that he is absolutely phenomenal at. And it's not people calling in specialists or freaks who can climb a rope 70 times in 2 minutes or whatever. It is a field of men that you're bringing in and you're having Taylor pick a workout against. You got to understand that Taylor is near games level. There's probably been a time where he has been games level and he's still near games level. Nobody he's bringing in is going to have a chance at beating him with him picking the workout. It's completely different than Kill Taylor, and it's in person, and he's going to smash absolutely everybody, period. Selling the fact that Taylor will get killed. He's not getting killed. For everybody who thinks that I'm doing buying and selling wrong, like they've pointed out in the past, I'm not. And even if I am, I don't care. You get the picture. Buy or sell, John Young goes down in Heavy Isabel.
Hello, it's me.
Sorry, Johnny boy, I'm buying this one. And by go down, I don't mean he's going to fall or fail a snatch or have a dumbbell, barbell, whatever it is, drop on his head. I mean he's going to get beat. But he's only going to get beat by whoever the special guest is. I'm guessing it's either Froning or it's Austin Hatfield, who I know is there. And whoever it is, the special guest that they're not talking about and that John doesn't know about, they're going to be the one that's going to beat him. I do think he'll beat everybody else. So I am buying that John Young gets beat at Heavy Isabel. Buy or sell, Andrew Hiller and Brooke Wells will have a moment, a la Danny Spiegel and Andrew Hiller at NorCal 2024. Will there be a confrontation? Will she give him an interview? Will he pursue it? I am buying that we will have an Andrew Hiller and Brooke Wells moment, and here's why. If he's there working, which I think he is, but I don't know if he's working for himself and his own footage, his own videos and things like that, or if he's just working on the Sevan broadcast side. But if he is in there working in his own capacity for his channel and not just for the Sevan broadcast, then there will be a moment because he will pursue that moment. He's been practicing from the start and getting better at making the phone call, asking the question, going up to the person, doing the confrontation, saying what needs to be said. So that will happen here, in my opinion. It's going to be super interesting because she's going to have to give interviews with these people. If she wins an event, where do you go? You go over to the broadcasters. That's John Young, Sevan, and Bill. Like that, she goes. Who's going to be standing there? Probably Brian Spinn and Andrew Hiller. She's going to have to face these people the whole weekend. What on earth is going to happen? This is going to be phenomenal. And the crazy thing is, if she doesn't make it here, We're looking at her facing a field at the games that potentially includes Alex Kazan, Hattie Canyo, who is doing NorCal, Emily Rolfe potentially if she's not injured, and then the people that don't make it here who, like, in my picks, are people like Sydney Wells, Shelby Neal, Kyra Milligan, former games athletes. There's things I didn't even mention. There's other games athletes that aren't in my top 5. And she would be facing that field at NorCal. So there is a potential scenario where Brooke Wells not touching her chest to the floor in burpees leaves her out of the CrossFit Games. And the whole thing implodes. It shouldn't, but it could. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. I'm buying that there will be a moment between Andrew Hiller and Brooke Wells, and I hope that it's entertaining. All right, let's take it through a few more here. Reddit will be absolutely up in arms about the entire Sevan broadcast, and they won't be able to shut up about it. I'm obviously buying that.
Stupid is, stupid does, sir.
Taylor Self will be naked publicly at some point this weekend. Obviously, I'm buying. Allow me to explain for a second. No matter what, he's going to be naked at the house. The only question is, will he appear naked somewhere else? Now, I don't think so, because he will be there in a professional capacity. So I think that the clothes stay on at Syndicate. They come off at the house. He will be naked publicly, technically, but it will only be at the house.
Sleeping up top. Me. Who's sleeping down below?
Taylor.
The bald dude?
Hey, dude, stop looking at my ass. Buying or selling, somebody will mistake Angelo DeCinco for Bryson Del Monte or Bryson Del Monte for Angelo DeCinco. Absolutely buying. And you know what? Honestly, it might be me. I heard if you say Cale Lehman's name 3 times in a mirror while drinking a Mountain Dew, he shows up. Maybe somebody will do that and he'll show up. Buy. I just want it to be true, so I'm buying it. Just come do Kill Taylor. You told him you'd do Kill Taylor. Just come for that, please. The people want you. You're good at CrossFit. You're like 85th, 90th percentile. Okay. All right, that's about enough of that. The way it's all going to shake out after this could be really interesting because there's going to be 3 spots left in North America, and who we have left to qualify is extremely interesting. Let's say that Jack Rosema and Ty Jenkins make it. Well, then you've got Jorge Fernandez, Seth Stovall, Bill Leahy, George Sterner, Luke Parker, Panchek. You've got fringe people like Drake Lewis. You've got Nate Ackerman, Connor Valtz, Ben Smith maybe. You've got this field at NorCal that suddenly is like, there's a lot of people here who have made the games or who are on the fringe and on their way up to making the games. People are getting left out, and that's not even considering the fact that somebody we haven't considered sneaks a spot. For instance, I mentioned Connor Volz. What if he comes in and takes one of the spots? Now you've got 2 spots left, and you've got names like Seth Stovall, Jack Rosema maybe, Bill Leahy, George Turner, Luke Parker, Patrick, all these people that I talked about, and they're all vying for 2 spots. It's going to get crazy. On the women's side, think about this for a second. If Brooke Wells doesn't make it, let's say Sydney Wells makes it, and Carolyn Stanley, then at NorCal you would have Brooke Wells, Alex Kazan, potentially Emily Rolfe, Hattie Canyo, Kyra Milligan, Shelby Neal, Lexi Neely, Carolyn Prevost, and some other people that could be in the mix as well. Those were all games athletes. We would have 2 spots for that whole list that would include Kazan and Brooke Wells if Brooke Wells were to not make it. And even if she does make it, say swap Brooke Wells' name of Sydney Wells, that's still a crazy field. And here's the crazy scenario. The crazier scenario out of all of it is Brooke Wells doesn't make it here. She makes it out of NorCal, and suddenly you've got Alex Kazan vying for the last spot. Now, in theory, Alex Kazan is so fit that she should absolutely be a shoo-in for one of those 2 spots. But stranger things have happened, and her plan of putting it all on NorCal might end up looking a little bit sketchy in the end if suddenly you're doing it against Brooke Wells and all these different games athletes. It's not as easy as maybe you had originally expected. Something crazy is going to happen. It might not be that, but between Kazan and Brooke Wells, one of them might not make it. In fact, I will go as far as to say that between Alex Kazan and Brooke Wells, one of them is not going to make it. And I think that's about all I have to say about all that. So we will be at Syndicate, and by we, I mean I'll be there too. In the shadows, deep in the dark parts of your soul, Going to be shooting some footage. I think I'm doing some stuff with Jack Rosema, a lot of stuff with Ty Jenkins. So we'll get some behind the scenes. I don't know if it'll come out day by day or if I will make a feature in the end. Hopefully those two guys will make it and it'll end up being some great footage. Going to be a packed, busy weekend for me. It's going to be great. The broadcast is going to be phenomenal. You're going to have the barbell spin every day. You're going to have the Sevan podcast and broadcast. The broadcast officially for Syndicate, and then I'm sure they'll be doing podcasts afterwards. You're going to have CrossFit content that is entertaining all weekend long, and I hope that I can bring you some of it. Look forward to seeing you guys on the other side.